Oh wow.
Or
Okay.
another version.
Although I was born a Haitian, I never really learned to appreciate and start to study the Haitian people, the Haitian history, until after I left this country for over 10 years. And it's a long process. It's an interesting process because we have one of the most interesting countries in this world. It's so true that I have not left Haiti for the past now 12 years, where I used to travel every month almost at one time in my life. It's a frustrating process, it's an interesting process, it's a totally baffling process sometimes, but this country is, to say the least, captivating.
Ti mwen yo,
Oui.
ki sa ou te di?
De di ou eme bon, mwen gen 10 piti. De di ou bo am kout, baka fe an ya ave yo. Gen de lo men ti yo vin gran, bon, bagen posibilite pou mta kontinyo yo kon sote ane l'ekol. A koz mwen pa gen kob pou mnete yo, ane sa si mpe pou yo, ane pochen mwen gen wap pa gen kob pou mpe pou yo, yo vin kampe. Non te mwen dem si mwen gen ed, mwen di ou non ba jwen ed, mba gen moun ka bam ed, si mte gen moun ki ka bam ed, si moun yo ta avanse plus, men mba gen fase posibilite pou mte ede yo. Kon ya, e sa te fe yo kom si, même si yo vin gran, men yo kom si yo en retard. Le fin avec, le fin me di man dans l'église avec yo gande lo, ti moun yo gande lo. Kon problème pour yo, ou ti moun yo gande wal lot ti moun bien belle. Ou même ou ta remen pa ou bien belle tout, gande lo, ou pas facile pour t'amener pa ou bien belle tout. Gande lo yo kon en retard, yo pa ka l'église. Gende lo ou gen doit pas gen kob, si gen gen soulier ou un sandal li gen doit raser ou pas gen kob pour acheter ba yo, c'est camper ou gen doit camper presque un mois, yo pas à l'église.
E santi yo, ak santi yo, eski li te bon? Ou eski ou te gen problem?
Hein? Ma
Ou
compose
santi? Santé?
non santé.
Est-ce que les au niveau de l'hôpital, est-ce que santé le débile bon?
A detail that's not usually known. Most of these early slaves, Macandal, Boukman, you can tell by the name, they were from the British colonies in the Caribbean. Not that they had escaped or anything like that. Most of them were either still slaves and were either traded or escaped and came to another slave country, or in the case of Henri Christophe, who became king of Haiti for a while, he was brought here with Scottish, I think a Scottish bartender, and he was a perfect hotel and bar keeper and server. And that was his first trade in Haiti. He was so young when he was brought here that when he was fighting with the American troops, you remember that we had a British Haitian contingent that fought in Savannah. They still have a statue for them, stuff like that. in the States, and Henri Christophe was the drummer boy in that group, that brigade or whatever it was. So Mackendal is one of the first ones that used the power of voodoo to open the conscience of the slaves to their condition and stuff like that. There's a lot of myth of how he never died because when the British
Moustique, oui, l'était moustique, enfin,
the British, the French that caught him in the Cap region, when they finally caught him, they burned him, and apparently they had cut off his hands and stuff like that, and he just jumped out of the fire and became whatever it is. Some say wild boar, some say moustique, some say anything, he just, but a lot of this is myth, that, but the myths are what keeps them going, right? And at first, they learned a hard lesson, which is why the only reason we succeeded is when all the oppressed people here got together and had the revolution. That's why our, what do you call it, the motto on the flag is "L'union fait la force." But we forgot that afterwards, okay?
Non, alors, tant passé à depuis pour faire tant aujourd'hui en disant plus rapide et puis plus moderne, mais tant passé à côté plus bon. C'est moins modernisé, mais au début plus facile, plus bon.
Comment
Alors qu'on y a rapidité, temps vient tellement moderne là-dedans. Donc, il pas douce. Il pas mais net. Non, mais. Politique qui te gagne, c'est moins que politique qui est qu'on y a. Il y a plus politique qu'on y a qu'hier. Oui.
Et ça c'est bon ou pas bon?
Non, il est bon puisque nous marchons là-dedans. Alors, nous ne pouvons pas vraiment marcher, mais nous marchons, nous obligés de marcher là-dedans, c'est comme ça nous dit. C'est comme ça pour nous marcher. Nous ne pouvons pas refuser de marcher là-dedans, puisque nous ne pouvons pas changer. Jean dit à Jean pour nous marcher avec lui. Qui fait, même si nous ne pouvons pas rien, nous sommes obligés de faire le marché.
Here in Haiti is that because why I'm saying that is a lot of little known about the actual revolution for independence in Haiti is the fact that we have 3 different communities here. I don't know if you visited Casal or Fort-des-Blancs or anything like that. Totally populated by people from Polish descent. I myself am from
Polish
Italian
Haitians.
descent. Yes, the Pope when John the 23rd, Jean 23. Yeah, when he came here, he went and visited people that were related way back. Okay, if you go, family tree, you found the relation to them. Why? Is because people keep forgetting that Napoleon's army was made of all the people that he conquered in Europe. And when the fight started here, all of a sudden, some of the contingents decided, shit, these people are doing what we should be doing at home, liberating ourselves from the French. And they sided with Haitians.
Yeah, I'm looking at this out.
The Italian, the two Italian Italians that were there, the cannon groups, the artillery went with the French, and the cavalry went with the Haitians. Same thing with the Poles. The Poles, one group said, okay, my brigade or my division is not fighting with Leclerc. They're fighting with the people that want liberty or death, and they went on the Haitian side. So this country is really a lot of mixed people. One of the people that they forget the most is the remnants of the Indians that were here. Like a lot of the voodoo myths about the fight from the people that fought for the independence. Oh, Toussaint or Christophe, or Dessalines, when they were surrounded, they'd whip out their sword or their gun and make signs, and then they disappeared. Fine, if you want to believe in voodoo, right? And there's an explanation to everything, right? Mm-hmm. And we found out after a lot of studies that these people had hooked up in the beginning of the fights for independence, the Marron, the Neg Marron, when they were taking to the
They
hills.
freed slaves. Or not,
No,
not
no.
freed, they escaped slaves.
They escaped
went
slaves,
to live
exactly.
another generation.
And when they went up, the
And went
further
free.
they went up in the hill, what did they find? Little villages that were the remnants of the Arawak Indians that fled the Spaniards. And they're the ones that taught them this country. How do you expect guys from Africa to come here and know everything about this country, which they've never seen? That's totally different from their old environment. Okay? There had to be a reason for that. Mystique was not the only thing, right? So what they did is they found those tunnels that the Indians had dug to escape the Spaniards. As a matter of fact, we did, when the troops were here in 94, they did a the group went down. And there is one that starts in Globusico down here and goes all the way up to Blocos. It's about 17 kilometers on the ground. Crazy, crazy stuff like that.
Et tu connais?
Ah mon cher, Haïti c'était l'appel des Antilles. Côté tout touriste, t'as aimé venir vivre dans le pays, venir trip, venir tirer. Nous t'as aimé rencontrer un pile de monde étranger venir dans le pays. Pour venir trip, venir voir un bel petit pays, l'appel des Antilles, Haïti. Sans t'as aimé pour Haïti.
Qui ça vous pensez? Qui ça vous pensez c'est vous aimez Haïti?
Bon, pour Haïti là, Haïti besoin de pile aide. Un pile monde qui peut aider. So, on a avancé. On a même joué avec pays aux États-Unis, d'Amérique, Canada, France. So, on a aimé avancer.
Est-ce que vous pensez que le pays ça y a un vrai intérêt dans Haïti ou seulement dans l'argent?
Bon, ça dépend. Pourquoi on est sans l'argent? Ne va pas fonctionner. Ne faut pas trop aimer comme là tout. Nous avons plus aide, plus de gens qui viennent connaissances, si moun yo l'école. Ou un pile professeur étranger qui venu pour venir faire quelques cours avec eux, apprendre à parler anglais, espagnol, français, créole. Non.
Tout long ça y a?
Yeah.
Yeah. Est-ce que vous pensez... Qu'est-ce que vous pensez sur langue créole? caractéristiques, mais peut-être politique tout, parce que je connais français, c'est langue
Ouais.
politicien.
Yeah.
Vraiment.
Yeah. Mais yo oublié créole là. Mais créole c'est natif natal. Langue créole là est langue panne. Nous pas supposé la gueule. Et tout côté où t'as même parler créole. Moi-même t'as même parler anglais. So, parler créole, ou parler anglais.
Nous pouvons apprendre
Nous
ensemble.
pas communiquer ensemble.
Oui.
Même t'as même qu'on langue tout plus bien que langue panne.
Perception, moun blanc en Haïti.
Bon, tout
Et pour Haïtiens, yo amis.
tout touriste qui vient à Haïti. So, yo t'a aimé vivre dans le pays. Non, so, aimé Haïti. Moi-même, tout t'a aimé aller visiter aux États-Unis. So, beaucoup capable. Yo, même visiter, moi, ouais, qui est un pays nan, so good.
Moun blanc qui bay Haïti ou aider Haïti en dehors.
Bon, dans la vie, on a toujours besoin d'aide. So, si vous pouvez aide là-bas, moi, je suppose recevoir. Je suppose mettre d'accord ensemble avant, et puis pour nous faire une longue taille. Non.
Ou connaît qui type d'aide? Like professeur ou aide médicale ou
Bon, nous
professeur ou-
avons un problème médecin. Tout.
Oui.
En Haïti, pas un médecin.
Oui. Mais il y a un bel hôpital ici,
Oui,
là,
belle-
ouais.
belle
Dans la
flèche
vallée.
sans odeur.
Mais la vallée, c'est exceptionnel. Comme ça.
Dans la créole, là, il y a des belles flèches sans odeur.
Les sens odeur.
Ou une belle caille, ou pas une belle cabane. Nous avons un bel hôpital, nous pas un médecin. Nous avons un docteur. Vous entendez des docteurs? Nos docteurs. Nos médecins.
Il y a une éducation médicale en Haïti.
Si.
Mais est-ce que étudiants ça yo reten en Haïti?
Non,
Ou-
après un nombre de temps, il allait étudier aux États-Unis, et laisser Haïti, so Haïti tourne derrière, so vous voyez si on allait étudier l'autre bord.
Pour
So,
retourner plus tard ou
pour
non?
retourner, il va tourner blanc tout gain. So li bon.
I had fun with the guy from State Department during the embargo years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to. He knew that I had contact, but it was with the Pentagon. You know, I'm old military, so I only talk to military, my friends, right? But when he came in, when they decided to bring Titit back, deciding to bring him back in '94. So they need the State Department to know shit what's going on in this country, right?
No.
So they sent this guy, I forgot his name, I had his card still. I found it the other day, I was laughing about thinking what I did to this guy, you know? And it was funny, he went to this outrageously roundabout, sneaky way to try to get to talk to me. All right?
Yeah.
Like he knew I was friend with the Israeli guys and the German embassy special security gang. And
The Israeli intelligence.
yeah,
Right.
and the Mossad people. And so he set up this meeting at a big beach house that they own, State Department owned, or something like that. And
On a vacation with the State Department.
they invite me. I knew exactly. I don't know how. I think maybe one of my guys in the army must have tipped me for probably the military attaché from the embassy or something like that. Anyway, I go up there with a bunch of girls, and they're all trying to get serious, but they're running around with the girls and stuff like that. And he was there. He's coming up, right? And he's got this radio communication. And he didn't even realize that the army had given me a lot better equipment than they use at the State Department, right? I was monitoring all their calls.
Oh.
And my little tiny thing. It was funny. And he's coming up on the car and he's calling up and he's saying, is he there already and stuff like that? Yeah, he's been here and he's really getting drunk now, and stuff like that. You better get me here quick. And when he gets there, every time they go to introduce me to him, I walk around. Yeah, I say, oh, yeah, I gotta do this. Finally, I cornered him when he was really totally despair. He didn't know what to do. He went to get a beer and I just walked up to behind him. I said, I know why you're here. He's like, oh, really? I am. I said, I know you are. It's like, and I said, but you can't ask me any questions. He says, why not? I said, orders. He's like, from whom? I said, shit. From the people who give the orders,
Yeah, who else gives the orders?
Smells great.
have been consciously laundering money for cartels and stuff like that. But Haiti was discovered as a turning point. Under Duvalier the father, nobody would dream of using Haiti as a turning point or entry point, distribution point. Oh, crazy.
Duvalier too? Duvalier partait pour ça?
Duvalier the father? No, never.
Okay, I don't know.
Hey, he never agreed to any of this shit. Even the casino people, when they came here, it was like, don't come here and tell me you're mafia and all this shit. That's nice. I'm still going to cut your head off if I don't get my take and all this, and I'm still running the country. And I was so Americans who've been doing this for the 200 years that both countries existed, smuggling. Haiti is one of the greatest smuggling countries in the world. You ever seen the map of the island? Little tiny piece, and you got kilometers and kilometers of coves and things like that. So you got all the guys that used to go for the first days. I'm talking about 70s, early 80s, that used to go to Jamaica and stuff like that. They would come with their sailboat. Until they started giving the Haitian peasants money to plant marijuana on the hillsides of Cape and stuff. And they'd come down every 6 months. The crops would be just harvested and just, no, we're just tourists selling the Caribbean. And they'd go back home with their shit, right?
Yeah.
Monsieur dit non, pas connaît. Non, c'est légal. Mais tu mets une machine dans ma pelle, mettre location. Il dit ça pas regarder ma soeur à fond dans la maison. Ça ne go arrête au ISO. Pas connaît non. Arrête au ISO. Pas connaît non. Ça ne go arrête au ISO. Pas connaît non. Arrête au ISO. Pas connaît non. Chef de poste.
Mais sauf que le gouvernement haïtien manqué moyen pour financer l'école publique yo. Parce que le gouvernement avant pas bail trop importance à l'école. Mais le gouvernement actuel yo bail plus importance à l'école. Donc c'est pour ça moi penser éducation capable changer beaucoup plus parce que le gouvernement actuel investit dans l'école publique. Maintenant, ça moi penser l'école privée capable venir moins cher. Donc moi penser c'est un bon bagage. Tout côté. Oui, moun gen peur. Mais pour que ça gen peur? Ou venir ou pas peur? Ou sortir là, on vle? Ou aller en plage, j'en vle? Ou aller pour salut, j'en vle? Ou aller à Bakabe, j'en vle? Pas gen moun kap di, hey monsieur, montrez mon passeport, montrez mon identité. Ou free. Yeah. So, qui ça plus bon que Haïti? What is the right Haitian ID? How Haitian can collaborate in making things with you and go faithful, okay? But I think if you never come in Haiti, you should never think what is Haiti mean.
Okay, when the earthquake passed, I was in the kitchen and I felt the ground shaking. And I thought it's the battle of Gaz who fell. Now my dad said, earthquake, Pabuto, let's run. And I ran and I skipped the stairs 2 by 2. And now I get out, I try to get out of the house and someone said, no, go inside. And I tried to get out and another next time I come again, I try to get out. He said, no, get inside. And after the earthquake stopped, bloop. And after I heard many people yelling. And after we didn't sleep in the house. We slept in a garden because we were scared for the earth. We thought that the earthquake will pass and the house will fall on us. And after there was a lot of people who died. Some got injured. Someone from inside of the house, they already get outside and some inside stay in the house, fall on the one that stays inside. And I have a friend in my school that named Rootson. He was died by the earthquake. He was sleeping.
Ways to wash their money, you know.
Launder money.
Launder their money
Yeah.
is by just creating an ONG that's helping Haitians, you know.
Yeah.
And these type of organizations really, it's like a lottery, whether it works or not. If they get good people
Yeah.
setting up for them, fine. I don't care where the money comes from, as long as it's doing some help.
Yeah.
But if they get a shitty person heading the project, usually the project just dies.
Yeah.
You know, but they don't care because they've made some of the money already. It's the example that we get anyway.
That is sad. Yeah.
You know, think about it.
Yeah.
There are two things that are running the reconstruction of Haiti. the big organization that's giving the money, and what is it? The Bush Clinton.
Yeah.
Two presidents that will not get along in the States, all of a sudden are heading, let's give money to this country. Okay? So the buck making there. The thing is, do you know that we're still at the church there? Got a depot full of relief from the earthquake.
Really?
That I managed to get here 3 weeks after the earthquake.
Still hasn't been dispersed?
No.
Dans le futur là, en Haïti.
Bon, le futur qui fait la vie a changé. Puisque moi-même, pour moi, ouais, à nouveau, j'entends aujourd'hui, la vie a venu plus chère, mais elle vient plus intéressant. Parce que autrefois, là où tu fais un petit monde, où tu as acheté terre pour mettre dans terre. Mais à nouveau jour, ouais, pour faire instruction. Côté où il y a ou même pour capable avancer pour plus devant, pour capable ou même où tu connais lui-même pour capable connaître toutes les 10 lettres, les 25 lettres de l'alphabet. Et pour capable, c'est pas sous dépend après lui vient 18 ans, ou supporter lui. Après 18 ans, lui-même avec ça où tu mets dans le cerveau là, il est capable d'utiliser tête pour qu'on parle. Et ça fait moi à nouveau jour et autrefois parce que même pour l'État autrefois nous étions en bas un gouvernement républicain mais à nouveau jour et même s'il peut capable bien marcher très bien maintenant bas un gouvernement démocrate côté avec démocrate là même s'il peut bien compliqué mais comme ça et un jour quoi aujourd'hui parce que sortir l'embrun, entrer dans la clarté, pour agir facile. Un jour, aujourd'hui, nous sommes capables de sortir l'embrun et puis nous sommes entrer en clarté quand même. Même si là, moi, gros, moi, pas well, même si petit, moi, pas well, mais petit, moi, après la vie, nous sommes capables d'une plus belle qu'un jour en Haïti.
What can I say about the Ethiopians? You know, calling them Crooks Incorporated would be really bad. And calling them saints will be totally illusions, right? I think the NGOs, what is important is who is running the program on the field. I know of an instance of somebody coming here and starting a project, and after that deciding to move on. But they picked the right person to keep the project open, and they are surprised now as how far and how good it's been run with all the care, with all the integrity and all the love. But most of them are just, I don't know, some of them tax deferments, the will to do something, you know, how they had a lot of problems, you know, let's go help. But after a while, you know, you get frustrated because the cultures is different, you know. The Haitian never, there was an American expatriate here by the name of Herbert Gold who wrote a great book, The Best Nightmare on Earth, Life in Haiti. And Herbie, when I started reading the book, I once told my wife, listen to what Herbert is saying. He's saying that Haitians never say no to anything. Everything you tell them is oui, which is yes. And you have to make sure that you know whether it's yes, 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 no, or yes, maybe. And she said, well, that's a racist statement and stuff like that. And I said, wait a minute. Before I make any opinion, I called the garçon. And I said, Stephen, I gave him an order about something and stuff like that. And I said, did you hear what I said? Yes. Did you understand what I said? Yes. What did I say, Steve? Yes. So you have to, those are little things that You cannot let yourself either be frustrated or discouraged or anything like that. If you came here to do something good, you have to do something good. It's up to you, to the people that are doing it. But most of them, we're finding out right now, it's a question of money. You know, everybody's getting jobs, and you know they got 20 people taking a salary that they could have used to help 20 families here. And these people just come over here and go to the best restaurants, trek to the mountains, and run around on the beach and say, oh yeah, we were down in 3 weeks in Haiti, and these are impossible people, and we did so much good, and that was it. You know? Yeah.
Yo, Haïti pa bihay, pou kinape ban ni sou fay, oblige al travay pou pa nan de dosay. Pou yo, epi ave mande pou Haïti chanje, non Haïti pa ka chanje, paske nou pa gen linyo, pou ki sa nou pa mette men ansam pou nou esi peyi nou va marche. Yo, bam di yo, ti moun ap dormi an ba galeri, yo pa menm ka manje, ya pe soufri, gen de papa yo menm kon day, yo oblige nan kase kay, yo pou ki sa peut-être les têtes garder piti yo kap souffrir en bas pied yo ta remet tout temps pour nous ta demander yo 50 goud non nous pas ta remet faire si balte c'est pour ça que n'a boumé pour nous apprendre profession pour nous voir si nous ça avancer yo bam di yo garder un bel petit pays chargé avec un pile montagne qui un pile pied bois pour qui ça que tout touristes toujours voulait pour venir en Haïti pour yo venir tuer. Yo, regardez qui j'ai nous venir Haïti, nous venir trip avec moi. Moi-même tout moi t'a remis à trip avec nous. Yo, nous songeons notre temps, te gagnons Haïti, côté qui pas de l'union, côté qui pas de haine, côté qui moun pas nan casse caille, tout le monde tape trip tant pour moun. Mais qu'on y a nous venir tomber dans des blosailles yo. Regardez, tremblement de terre passé l'écraser nous. Nous tout a souffrir, nous gagnons un petit moun qui mourir dans le tremblement de terre. C'est peut-être ça que nous tout a grandi pour nous dire Haïti ça allait plus haut. Yo, président, les têtes garder nous. Nous voulons monter un film, c'est peut-être ça que nous avons chanté. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what you're playing in?
I can play on anything.
You want to play in C? C is easy.
Yep, I was in C minor.
You know, that point I don't believe in. You know, I don't believe in that mass destruction thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Apocalyptic, like you're saying. I think that we still have to go through a lot of violent changes. Demographic, you know, anything. You know, before you had a lot of wars, you know, and every now and then, you know, you had a few millions that just were the natural
shedding
expansion of the things, right? You know? And then all of a sudden we're all getting peaceful and everything like that. And we're getting overpopulated. And you think the problem is the third world? Have you ever sat down and think about the problems in Europe? America is lucky because they've been so far. Forget about your numbers and unemployment and all that. But you've been so far able to, you've been able to give your youth something to do, a type of job.
Oui, et ici dans Haïti, nous utilisons le charbon, c'est parce que pile de monde dans la population, il n'y a pas de moyens pour acheter gaz propane. C'est ça que ils utilisent et charbon.
Et est-ce que tout charbon c'est tout charbon haïtien vraiment, c'est pas vin l'autre bout international, ouais?
Donc,
Toujours c'est de pied bois haïtien?
oui, charbon c'est pied bois que les paysans ont coupé. Ils ont coupé les pieds bois, ils ont transformé, ils ont fait charbon avec lui.
Comment ils ont fait charbon?
Et donc ils ont coupé pieds bois, ils ont coupé brin de bois et puis ils ont fait une façon, ils ont mis dans la terre. Oui, ils ont rangé le bois normalement. Et puis ils ont mis du feu. Et puis ils ont mis terre sous lui. Donc, bois ça l'a brûlé pendant au moins 3 jours et puis c'est ça qui vient de charbon.
C'est un monde qui ou même ou fait business mais ou même connaît fruits à faire. Par exemple, par jour, qui quantité de charbon qu'on peut utiliser par exemple pour fonctionner pendant toute journée?
On peut fonctionner 2000 sacs charbon.
2000 sacs. Mais c'est combien vous achetez sac là?
Sac là 120.
120 dollars haïtiens. Qui vient n'importe 600 gouttes. Ok.
Combien vous pensez que vous payez pour charbon chaque jour? Est-ce que vous achetez charbon chaque jour?
Oui, mais charbon chaque jour.
Et combien vous payez pour
combien?
Ça 600 gouttes.
Mais est-ce que vous achetez ça comme ça chaque jour?
Chaque 2 jours.
Chaque 2 jours, vous achetez ça pour 120 dollars haïtiens?
Oui.
Ok. Et combien de temps ça prend pour cuire, manger, pour
bon, il y a pour une heure et demie, ça demande de manger au coup là.
Ok. Cool.
Ok. Si vous faites un peu de manger, quelle quantité de charbon qu'on utilise pendant la journée?
Si vous faites un peu de manger, bon, si vous faites un peu de manger pour vendre, on peut utiliser chaque charbon par jour.
Ok. Mais tant que si vous faites manger, là, quand même pour, par exemple, pour manger 4, 5, 6 mois.
Bon, si vous pour acheter, ça va durer 6 jours, 7 jours.
Bien. Mais est-ce qu'il y a un pile la fumée?
Yeah.
La fumée.
Est-ce qu'il y a un pile la fumée?
Si le charbon est bon, la donne la fait la fumée. Mais si le bain est bon, il va faire la fumée.
Ok.
Non, et à la campagne, ils ont utilisé bois pour faire manger parce que les plus facile. Et parfois, on est obligé d'acheter des charbon, mais bois aujourd'hui dans la nature, là, comme ça, aujourd'hui, il est plus facile pour joindre à la campagne. Mais la ville, c'est difficile pour servir avec bois parce que ça va faire un peu la fumée, vous comprenez, pour faire un peu la fumée, est difficile dans la ville, pour servir avec bois, mais ils préfèrent servir avec charbon.
And what did they do? Is bringing labor from all over the Arab world, Turkish world, immigrants from the Balkans and everything like that. But in the end, when these people that, just like what's happening, that create Cité Soleil, you have no electricity, you have nothing. What do you think the people are going to do all night? Fucking have babies. I mean, don't try to, cover it. This is what's happened. Okay? You realize that La Valley, everybody goes to sleep at 7:30 at night, So when you got a guy and girl laying next to each other in a bed, no TV, no books to read, nothing like that, what are you going to do? Have fun, right? Or exercise, whichever way you want to call it. And everybody's got 10, 12 kids.
Yeah.
And you know the reason for that? They told you that most of the time they're going to lose at least 6 of them. They'll still have 6 more to take care of them in their old age. That's the simple mentality of it. It's all numbers. So now you got a bunch of people because everybody was being nice and nice to each other, and they got no work, nothing to do. And that's what happened in Europe when they had all these youth riots and stuff like that. No work, nothing to do, you know, you can drink beer and say rah rah on a soccer game for so long, you know. After that, you need to do something. And you gotta occupy them. Before they used to send them to war. Right? And it took care of a lot of population problems. What's gonna happen when the Chinese and the Indians don't have room anymore? I mean, you know, you're worried about America?
Haïti nous ka fel. Haïti krasé. Dématibile. Pas zafel. Yon lot Haïti nan tête collé nous ka fel. Haïti ka tourné ka ban na kasel. San batan bonje descend sot nan ciel. Ak bonje action nan la moun yon pour l'autre. San batan mouche blanc qui se pigo pilote. Nous ka fait de mon division. Prend yon en bas à l'autre. Pour mettre mes amis. Pour suspendre vivre comme matlot. Nous ka fait yon lot Haïti Thomas. Quand l'amour va lever, sorti nan coma. Pour les justice suspendre sous signe. Fin Tunisie ma.
But it's not Haiti. The mystique exists everywhere, right? We're universal. We keep forgetting that. You know, we're not unique. You know, God didn't create everybody with a passport in his pocket. Say, oh, you're American, you're this and that. You know, we're just a bunch of amoebas, right? So the mystique is real, but you got to be part of it. Some people are chosen, some are not. And the real mystique here is a little more interesting because of all these civilizations being superimposed one over the other, you know? And the real Haitian mystique is not Black Africa voodoo, it's Haitian mystique, and it has the Arawak and Taino Indians in it. It has the Black Africans from all over Africa that were brought here, and our own mystique of the people that were born here, the the Haitians that were their mothers being being raped by French or British colons and stuff like that?
In a way, Haiti is the most international or cosmopolitan nation.
In a way.
Because everyone
In
has
a
been
way.
here.
In a way. In a way.